Hello and welcome back to the Summoner's Guide to Final Fantasy XIV. This time we are going to be playing the last of the story dungeons in the Heavensward content, Baelsar's Wall. We are breaking into Imperial territory. Alright. So the dungeon is fairly straightforward, though it does have some interesting bosses. Alright, we're gonna see if we're gonna run this using speedrunning tactics, or just take everything one at a time. Not sure why they aggroed to me instead of the, Oh, that's right. The Sky Armor does not obey standard, aggro tailing. It picks somebody to go after and tethers to them and goes after them. Which will very often be a DPS, so just be aware of that. So even though technically the tank had hate on the Sky Armor, it was still attacking me. And this is going to be true of all such adds throughout this dungeon. So even though the tank was ahead of me, since the Sky Armor decided to aggro to me, everything else decided to follow, it looks like. And that's why I seem to have inadvertently made that particular pull. Fortunately, the Sky Armors really only are an issue early on in the dungeon. Again, sometimes tanks will take both of these pulls together. The Sky Armor is, of course, the real inhibitor to doing that. Make sure you pick up that key, because you'll need it to get into the second section. There are two Sky Armors here. Now the good news is the Sky Armors do tend to go down pretty quickly. And now we're already at the first boss. Now this boss is annoying because a lot of his mechanics really ignore the threat table and specifically target DPS. If this is the one I'm thinking of. I may be thinking of the second one. No, this is definitely the one that targets DPS. So Sky Armor shows up. As I said, Sky Armor will tether to targets and go after them. In this case, it's going after DPS. He'll then target somebody with a missile. Again, typically a DPS character. Healers just need to be prepared in this dungeon to heal the DPS because they're going to be targeted by a lot of mechanics. Which is not to say that the tank should not be tanking, because the general attacks are still going to go after the tank. But a lot of specific mechanics target DPS here. More sky armor. More missiles. As you can see, I got targeted by quite a bit of mechanics there. And there's really nothing you can do about it, at least nothing that I've ever found. You just have to know they're going to target you, and trust in your healer to keep you topped off. But you've seen all the mechanics in this fight. It's actually a very simple fight. Just the real wrinkle in here is, of course, that the DPS is going to be targeted by a lot more mechanics than you're probably used to in a fight like this. And not just being targeted with mechanics, but targeted with mechanics that you really can't avoid. But, again, just keep killing those ads as quickly as you can. Trust in your healer to keep you up. And this is an easy fight. Alright, well this second section takes place almost entirely on this platform. Once the platform is activated, it will start moving to various locations, and out of these conveyor belts will come a bunch of enemies. Which for some reason decided to target me immediately. So as you can see, there really aren't any speedrunning tactics in this particular fight, because the enemies come to you. Oh yeah, they come out in 2 waves here. for now. Oh, strike that. Now I have it. Alright, I think there may be one more pull. Right here. Yes. Once everything's gathered up, I'll do that, and that, and that. And that. Okay. Now, we should be able to take this this conveyor belt here to the second boss. Now, the second boss does have one very important mechanic to keep in mind. And I'll be calling that out as it comes up. It has a bunch of mechanics to worry about, but one in particular. Dynamic sensory jammer. Stop acting. Until extreme caution comes off, then you can resume. As soon as you see dynamic sensory jammer cast, take no action. Do absolutely nothing. Because if you act while the dynamic sensory jammer is up, and while you're under the extreme caution condition, you're going to get knocked up in the air and take an extreme amount of damage. Again, it's not like it's unsurvivable, especially with current gear. Wait for it. And you'll note, I got targeted by two mechanics there. You wait until extreme caution fades, and you will have just enough time to get out of that AoE before it resolves. So, be patient, wait for the extreme caution to fade, and then immediately move out of the AoE. It's not a case where you have to decide between one or the other. Obviously, in the grid patterns, and again, you can wait till the grid to resolve before you move. Oh, dynamic sensory jammer. Wait. And I moved. See there. That's why you don't move. That was an accident on my part. I bumped the control stick. But yeah, if you do anything, even move, you're gonna get hit by that. So there you have it. As long as you can manage the sensory jammer mechanic, and just know that whatever other mechanic you're in needs to resolve first before you get out of that circle AoE, and you will have time to get out of the circle AoE if you move immediately when the other mechanic resolves, whether it be the grid pattern or the sensory jammer. You will have time to get out of it. So don't get impatient. It's a trick meant to lure you into a trap. This section is gated off, so this pull is pretty much regulated. However, the next section, particularly bold speedrunning tanks, can take the entirety of the next section all the way up to the end boss. apologies. I'm recording this well, not first thing in the morning, but early in the morning, and I'm having the getting all the morning ick out of me yet. Alright, looks like... Okay, no, we're gonna... Alright, looks like we are gonna take everything, which is good. This is actually, I mean, even when I was basically thrown into this dungeon as a tank with my free company because they needed somebody to tank, they were all playing other classes. It's like, why don't you tank? Like, okay. I mean, I have a level 60 tank, but I make no promises that I have the experience to play this, and I even took this entire pull. So, this is not a difficult pull to take. And no, we actually didn't take the entire pull. There's still a few more enemies left at the end. Because those enemies are just so... They're very... they're actually very weak. They don't have a lot of firepower to them, so... As a result, I'm not even going to use the big guns here. I may throw in one of those. Well, let's throw in these. Let's just get this over with. I've got my... You know what? Let's not be spoilerific. I'll skip this cutscene. Alright. So, the Griffin.
Yeah.
Try to stay more or less in the middle to start out with. You're going to be moving. Flash powder, turn away. When he moves, you need to follow him. As you can just easily see.
I'll tear you limb from limb.
And you can use these audio cues to determine what move he's going to do.
For al amigo!
When he shouts for all amigo, move to the middle of the arena. And when the spear appears in the middle of the arena, it becomes targetable. Target it.
Yeah. How'd you like this?
Look away if you see the eyeball on it.
Yeah!
He'll target somebody with big boot, knock them into the other AoEs. You will have time to get out of them.
Sloppy.
Oh yeah, and don't forget immediately after that he is going to run to a side of the arena and use that attack. So just always be ready to follow him. When he targets the healer, like so, he'll put a restraint collar on the healer, which it must immediately be killed. If that move goes off before the collar is killed, you will lose your healer. You don't want your healer to die, so kill the restraint collar. Again, as you saw there, sometimes he'll kind of bounce around before he does that attack. So just watch for where he ends up.
I'll tear you limb from limb. Yeah. Sloppy. For al amigo!
Alright, he's gonna do the bit spears again, so get ready. I'm gonna manually put the dots on him here. And then target the spear in the middle.
How'd you like this?
Look away, because he's using flash powder. mark, he's going to knock you back into one of the AoEs. You'll just need to get out of it, which you have plenty of time to do. Get into that area. And now it's just rinse and repeat. Keep doing what you were doing for the entirety of the fight, and eventually you'll go down. Alright, he's targeting the healer with Restraint Collar. Right as I was about to cast that, I forgot the simple rule in this dungeon. Using Shadow Flare really doesn't do much good. So, that is Baelsar's Wall. And that is pretty much it's the last story dungeon in this in the Heavensward story. In fact, I've only got one more piece of Heavensward content to go. The last fight of the Warring Triad. Oh, they already left. Okay. So, until then, have a wonderful day.